I get the same sense, and you kind of you are reinforcing my own understanding of how I've seen things. But more importantly, we talk about commitment and getting the commitment of your people, keeping them engaged and motivated. Now, when a youngster of 26, 28 is looking at a 2-year stint with you and says, I want to pick up a few things, get to the right kind of salary bracket, and then move on. How do you get that kind of, because leaders talk about vision for the future, long-term goals and stuff like that, right? And I'll come to that part of the conversation in a little bit. But how do you gain that commitment from somebody who's looking at just about a 2 years or 3 years stint with you? How do you get the best out of that kind of a person?
Look, just as an analogy, a very quick analogy, if you have a look at, you do a bit of a study on what happened in the Pilanesberg, where there were roughly, I think, about 30 rhinos killed by elephants. Mm-hmm. And you looked at their history. What they did is they introduced a lot of young elephants into the Pilanesberg National Park. At that stage, they didn't have the means to bring their bull elephants, these heavy elephants, into it, so they didn't bring them. Mm-hmm. As these young elephants grew, they became very, very aggressive with testosterone, started killing the rhinos. Oh. And initially they killed the leaders of these young elephants. But then what they did is they realized it's not working, because the other ones would then just start killing the rhinos. So it wasn't just a leadership problem. Then they introduced the bulls. And when they introduced the bulls, suddenly these youngsters with these massive big elephants in the park were put in their place, and they stopped killing the rhinos. And there was, again, harmony. So where I'm going with this is that when you're dealing with a young person, it's about the structure you put around them. If you don't have cross-generational teams around that young person, the mistake people can make is put all the youngsters together. Mm-hmm. But the problem is they feed off each other. They want to see career development. Now you've got 10, 12 youngsters all fighting, trying to get the leadership role, and there's no people that have been in the organization a long time. So when you put in baby boomers into that team and Generation X, and they've got this cross-cultural flair, the reality is you find that there's that I get to know the person around me, and I develop in terms of my own understanding of how business works, because I can do mentoring and reverse mentoring as well. So there's a lot of things that could happen for that youngster that give them value in the job. Clearly, you can't promote them. There isn't a lot of promotions available. But as long as they feel developed, yes, they may leave in 2 years, but as long as they're getting that development happening, they will be, I would say, a lot happier in the organization. I saw this practically in one of my branches where we had a lot of attrition.